The thought of Laura sitting comfortably in that boutique, living her life like nothing had happened made my blood boil. My mother's voice echoed in my head. Her final wish was replaying in my head over and over. And the thought of Laura reporting me to the cops like I was nothing broke my heart. I wasn't even worth giving my dying mother a last moment of happiness. I started typing the first review, keeping it simple, just a comment about a rude remark she'd made to a customer. But that alone wasn't enough. I needed to do more, to make her feel the way I had felt in that jail cell, knowing my mother had passed away alone because of her and her psychopathy. The next review was worse. I made up stories of her snapping at customers, making them feel unwelcome, and even insulting them under her breath. It felt good, like I was finally getting back at her. It didn't matter how long it took or how many reviews I had to write. I wouldn't stop until I knew that Laura was suffering. By the time I finished, my eyes were burning from staring at the screen for so long. But I didn't care. I leaned back in my chair and felt a grim satisfaction. Over time, the complaints started to add up. The boutique's owner eventually couldn't ignore the sheer amount of complaints I had submitted. Every single day, new profiles, new fake reviews. The owner launched an investigation into Laura's behavior. Of course, Laura denied everything. She was in the right after all, but the damage was already done. The owner couldn't take the risk of losing customers because of a problem employee, so she fired Laura. I found out through a friend who I asked to walk in and ask specifically for Laura. The first step to ruining her life was complete. I felt a sick sense of satisfaction when I heard the news. Laura had taken my mom's last wish away from her, so I took Laura's job away from her. But that was just the beginning. Next, I turned my attention to her house. It was the house we had bought together back when we were still married, when things were good. The thought of her losing it filled me with a twisted sense of satisfaction. I started digging through public records, looking for anything that could cause her problems. After a few days of searching, I hit the jackpot. Laura was behind on her property taxes. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was enough to cause issues if someone brought it to the right attention, and the person handling her case had the right incentive. So I did just that. I acted like I was a concerned neighbor and sent an anonymous tip to the city, saying that the house might be abandoned or poorly maintained. This made them schedule an inspection, and sure enough, they found a few minor code violations. This was nothing serious, but enough to violate her HOA and make life difficult for her. But I wasn't done yet. I had an old friend from high school who worked as a code enforcement officer. We hadn't talked in years, but I reached out to him, reminded him of the good old days, and then slipped him a bribe to expedite the process. Soon enough, Laura got an eviction notice due to the unpaid taxes and the code violations. She was given a short time to vacate the house. I imagined her panic when she received that notice. She had nowhere to go. She had lost her job, and now she was losing her home. It felt like everything was falling into place, just the way I wanted.